This is Fox 59 Sports Overtime.
Inside the Fox 59 studio, welcome to Sports Overtime. I'm Dave Griffiths. Glad to have you here for the next half hour, which begins for the second time this year at SoFi Stadium in Southern California. The Colts could not beat the Rams 1 month ago in their first visit, so how about the Chargers today? Shane Steichen, 7 years as a Chargers assistant back in the day when they were in San Diego. First possession for the Horseshoes, Jonathan Taylor breaks free into the end zone. Extra points no good, so it's a 6-0 Colts lead. Later, Daniel Jones on 4th and 2. Finds Michael Pittman Jr. for his 5th touchdown of the season. On the Colts' 3rd drive of the game, trying to stay perfect, Jones on 3rd and 17 goes deep. That's a 48-yard catch by Alec Pierce. Later on the drive, Jones finds Tyler Warren in the back of the end zone. Made it 20-3. Colts defense fairly stout. That's Grover Stewart tipping the Justin Herbert pass, and then Grove picks off the ball himself. Gotta love that. And then just before the half, Nick Cross in the end zone with another interception of Herbert, one-handed. Colts would kick a field goal and take a 23-3 lead at the break. So, let's go to the second half. After a Chargers touchdown, here's the kick return. Amir Abdullah, upgraded from the practice squad this week. A big return for him. Gets down to the 15-yard line, and from there, just give it to Taylor. What else do you got to do? 3 touchdowns for JT on the day for the 3rd time this season. The Colts pass rush, no sacks in the first 3 quarters, but finally in the 4th, able to get home a few times. DeForest Buckner had a pair of them. Owner Carly Ursay-Gordon on the sidelines would be loving it. And the Colts improved to 6-1 on the season with a 38-24 win over the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Our Chris Hagan was there.
Here in Hollywood, they love a great comeback story. And what about the one being written right now by Colts quarterback Daniel Jones? The first-year Horseshoe quarterback now has the team 6-1 on the season and an offense that continues to lead the league in scoring.
I think getting in a rhythm certainly helps. I think, there were some times early in the game in the first half when I felt like, I wasn't as sharp or we weren't as sharp, but, we did a good job kind of catching ourselves, getting back into it, finding a play here, finding a play there.
We just got so many different ways that we can go at you. I mean, that we've been finding ways like every single way. And JT, obviously, you get down there, he just has this sense where we get in the 30-yard line, he's just going to run it in for us.
It's a testament, of course, to the hard work that I've put in, individually, but then also collectively as a team, what we've put in throughout training camp to be able to execute at a high level.
And while the Colts defense was not the best against the high-powered Charger offense, they came up when they needed to. Key 4th down stops and 2 big takeaways.
We always talk about, we can't lose to AFC opponents, and the Chargers are a great AFC opponent. They're a great team in the AFC, and it just shows the resilience of the team and what we got going on. And we just got to continue to focus on ourselves and take it one week at a time.
We're just chasing our best. Right now it's October. We want to be our best late November, going into December, and on to January and February.
And as the team heads back to Indy, they do so with the best record in the entire NFL, 6-1. But remember, we're not even halfway through the season just yet. With the Horseshoe in SoFi Stadium, I'm Chris Hagan.
The Colts went to Los Angeles on Sunday, site of their only loss of the season so far. But this time they came away with win number 6. A 38-24 final over the Chargers. It was another spectacular first half for the Indy offense. The opening drive sparked by a 29-yard gainer from Daniel Jones to Tyler Warren. The rookie tight end was great again on Sunday. It took less than 2.5 minutes for the first points. A Jonathan Taylor touchdown run, the start of a big afternoon for the league's leading running back. The following 2 drives also led to Colts touchdowns. Jones to Michael Pittman Jr. opened the second quarter. It capped a 17-play drive, the Colts' longest of the season, nearly 8 minutes, and gave them a 13-3 edge. Jones continues to find some more shots down the field. On a 3rd and 17 play, Alec Pierce got behind the defense, and 48 yards later, the Colts were rolling toward another TD. It was Jones to Warren for that score. The Colts scored 20 points in the first 21 minutes. The Indy defense turned up in the first half as well, keeping LA quarterback Justin Herbert on edge. Back-to-back interceptions for the first time this season. Grover Stewart and the D-line were very good in the first half. Big Grove with a swat and a pick, the first of his NFL career. And then at the 2-minute warning, Nick Cross with a takeaway in the end zone, keeping some sure Charger points off the board. The Colts tagged on a field goal at the halftime horn. They led by 20 at the break. The third quarter had two distinct storylines. For the Indy offense, it was another sterling performance for Taylor. 2 more touchdown runs, giving him 3 on the day. Already the third time he's done that this season. The second of those put the Colts up 38-10. But the Indy defense proved to be a bit of a liability in the fourth quarter. The Chargers were able to march down the field for a pair of touchdowns and got within 2 scores, had a chance to cut it to 1 late. But the Colts get just enough to stop them short. LA finished with 445 total yards, but the numbers that matter most, 38-24. The Colts victorious again, the first in the league to 6 wins this season. The Colts are already up by 2 games in the AFC South as well. They have another division opponent coming up next week when they play the Titans here in Indy. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
All right, more from Chris in a bit, but right now we bring in JMV 107.5 The Fan. John, let's start with the good first from this Colts win out there in Los Angeles. Offense was dynamic today against a Chargers defense that had been one of the top 10 units seemingly in the NFL this year. Who do you think is the MVP for the Colts offense? Is it obviously Daniel Jones, or is it obviously Jonathan Taylor? Because I think you could make a good debate about which one it is at this point in the season.
Well, Dave, everybody's going to go with the quarterback, but for me, the thing that really makes this team the best it can be offensively is 28. That's Jonathan Taylor, without question, because you can do and move, and now some things that he's expanded his game on kind of go unnoticed, and pass protection would be one of those. My good friend Rick Venturi talks about this all the time. He is such a well-rounded game. It's evolved. He is more than just what we've known him to be, and I think for this team offensively to click at its highest level, he's got to be a part of it. Thus, I believe if it were me, I'd give him the team MVP through the first 7 weeks of the season for what he's accomplished with this offense and where they are in the season.
John, as I'm watching national shows throughout this last week, it seems the narrative was there's no dominant NFL team right now. There's none. They're not out there. And they're kind of overlooking the Colts, who have the best record in the NFL for sure. Do you think that is just that the Colts haven't proven themselves yet, or is that just bias that shouldn't be the case?
They're still waiting on the proof, and everybody thinks that they have the soft schedule, which, okay, they do and have had a soft schedule. And all you can really do, Dave, with this schedule is continue to win games that you're supposed to win. That's exactly what they're doing. You'll let that stuff iron itself out further down the road, and then you can prove to folks who you really are if they're non-believers right now. And I would tell you this, you play for this season. That's why this trade deadline, we don't have to talk about this right now, this trade deadline that's looming coming up here in early November is going to have to be utilized, because there was a negative today, and it was the defense. The Colts' best defense is a great offense. We saw that. That can't always be the case. You're going to have a little bit of resistance, and they're going to need some help prior to the trade deadline.
Concern on the defensive side. Are you more concerned maybe the defensive line that couldn't seal the deal really until the fourth quarter when the sacks started to come, or just the fact that no cornerback seemingly can stay healthy? Is there one side that you think deserves more attention at the trade deadline, the front or the corners?
I think if you can find yourself a corner out there, that'd be great. It doesn't seem like that market is, at least landscape-wise, as robust as maybe you can find an edge rusher. But, Dave, make no mistake, you got to find it somewhere, because what happens is if you don't have it up front, then obviously that's going to suffer in the back. I would suggest you look at the quarterback position. You just don't see a lot of names at that position that may be available. It's more so the edge rushers. We'll see, but Chris Ballard and the Colts, you have to do something and take advantage of this year you're having.
What about that defensive line, though? Can you take a breath and say, oh, wait, they finally got to the quarterback in the fourth quarter, or were you expecting more in this game because the Chargers were down to their 5th, 6th string offensive tackles today?
They had you and I in there on the offensive line. I expected more when things were still like with the Chargers. You knew where they were going. I thought it was easier to tee off, and especially against the 3rd or 4th string guys. That's the problem that you have. It's that first wave where you weren't getting there, and you're going to see more and more of that because the schedule is going to stiffen up, and you're going to have to be better when it matters, not just when you're up by 2 and 3 touchdowns. Hopefully that's the case the entire season, but you need to go out and find some solutions defensively, or at least a solution defensively prior to the trade deadline. It's a must.
Listen to John weekdays, 107.5 The Fan, 3 p.m. JMV, appreciate your time.
All right, Dave, thank you.
We'll be right back on Sports Overtime.